Dave Palumbo here with an RX Muscle news update. The IFBB Chicago Pro has let out, and Antoine Vaillant, with the comeback of the year, has emerged victorious. He is going to the Mr. Olympia competition. What a great comeback story. We saw him in Vancouver last week, narrowly actually losing to Antoine Vaillant. He actually had a few first-place votes after prejudging, and we knew that Antoine had come back and made a very, very successful comeback from not only the bicep tear, but also he had a little relapse with some drug use that he had in the past. And so a lot of people thought Antoine was not going to be on stage this year. He proved everyone wrong. He came back strong. I gotta say, Chicago this weekend was the best Antoine I think I've seen. He was perfect. He was shredded to the bone. Better than he was in Vancouver, and the lineup was weaker here, and he dominated. I don't think anyone in the building thought that there was going to be a single person who was going to touch Antoine once he walked out on that stage and did all those mandatory poses. I mean, first of all, the guy is awesome at executing the mandatories. He's so dominant already. He knows how to show his strengths, hide his weaknesses. So right off the bat, he's got an advantage. But the guy was peeled from top to bottom, glutes, hamstrings, abs, everything. You know, everything from every angle was perfect for Antoine. The only way he could have lost the show is if someone would have been bigger on that stage than him and had, you know, better structure or similar structure. An Antoine Valliant, for instance. And I don't even know if Ian would have beat him today, to be honest with you, because I think this was a better Antoine than we saw last week in Vancouver. He absolutely earned his Olympia qualification. And you know what? You got to take your hat off to this guy. He overcame a lot of obstacles to get here. Great job, my friend. And Antonio Burton, we've been talking about him for the last couple of months. The last showing we saw him, I forget where we saw him, which shows specifically, but he was a little off. He came back here really, really peeled and tight. You can I was looking at this Instagram picture of him. He's just wacky off the charts with perfect lighting right in that hotel room. And then on stage, he just, he brought it. He brought it. He's obviously he's not big enough to stand with Antoine, and I think Antoine might have been a little better conditioned, but not much. But Antonio Burton, man, what great gifts he has with just wow factor, arms and chest and quads, and he's just got beautiful shape to his body. Once again, as we said, just needs a little bit more size to really be able to stand up there with those open guys. But he brought it today, and you know what? He beat a really good Andrea Muzi. Muzi, who's already qualified for the Olympia with his win a couple weeks ago. I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people felt, including myself, that, he was going to be a guy that was going to contend for the title here. Obviously, Antoine shut that door on him, but Antonio Burton did it as well. Muzi looks great, but Muzi doesn't have the structure of an Antonio Burton. And Muzi, his strength is bringing conditioning, consistency to the stage. He did what he had to do. He's third here. He really didn't need another showing, but I guess he figured, you know what? I'm already here. I'm in shape. Let me hit another show. Why not? I mean, why wasn't Antoine Valliant here? I mean, he could have picked up another win potentially, or maybe had a tough, 1-2, battle with Antoine, but it would have certainly raised his stock even higher. But I guess he had enough. I think he has plans to do one more show before the Olympia, if I'm not mistaken. Tim Budaside from Germany looked really good. He's a little narrow, but he's got a lot of wow. He always brings good conditioning to the stage. He's improving every single year. So I think he's still a work in progress, but he brought it. He looked great. Got to take your hat off to him. I think, once again, over the next year or two, if he keeps putting more size on, he's going to be a top guy. Jonas Giatris has to settle for 5th place here. I'm sure he's a little upset with that. He's done quite a number of shows now, and I think that maybe his body's a little tired at this point. I don't think he had quite the pop and the conditioning that we saw a few weeks ago when he was just shredded out of his mind. I see like a little bit of maybe some water or maybe a little flatness in his abs, and they weren't quite as sharp as we'd seen in the past. So maybe Jonas is trying to come in bigger and fuller when in reality he just needs to put more muscle on at this point. So I think he should shut it down unless he's close in points. He might want to keep going, just try to grab a few more points. But it's tough to keep competing week after week after week. And I know Jonas is probably feeling it right about now because he's been at a lot of shows at this point. So the big story, obviously, Antoine Vaillant, congratulations on the huge win. You're going back to the Olympia. Can't wait to see you on that Olympia stage, and can't wait to see you put on a great routine as you do all the time. We're going to be doing a full wrap-up of this entire show on Heavy Muscle Radio. That's tomorrow night. That's Sunday night at about 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard, live with Chris Aceto and myself. So check that out. For now, I'm Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle News Update.